Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Multiple places. Josh staying up late there in London, and Ben and Aiden getting up early in Sydney. Thank you guys for making my life easy where I can do this at 6 p.m. here in the U.S.
Of course. Anything for you, Jimmy. Anything.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about me, right? Man, well, you guys, I want you to talk a little bit about this song. When I first heard the new music that came over, we got some rough mixes on the new Young and Free music. And this was a song, like I just sort of put a circle around in my mind because just the message in it was so powerful. And I don't hear a lot of songs really, especially in a worship context, that really take on, the idea of reaching out, reaching others, sharing, the good news, being evangelistic, all of those kind of ideas that are kind of really well done and artfully, communicated through this lyric. But Aiden, maybe we'll start with you a little bit. Talk a little bit about the writing of this and a little bit of the inspiration. I know Josh was over from the UK. You guys were writing a lot for this record. And just what kind of started the process?
Yeah, so we were away. So we went away for the week to a writing retreat. And this song kind of came, in the middle of that week. But at that time, we had a lot of songs. And so this was definitely kind of like a pivot for us. And we were talking a lot about we just needed something high energy. We didn't know what that was, but we didn't want it to be, what we've done classically, which is, EDM or whatever. We wanted it to be something that was just bright up. And it's something that we could actually do in church. Because for us, Young and Free, I feel like we haven't had a song that I remember sometimes singing Real Love at 8:00 in the morning on a Sunday is hard for even us young people. And so this song was definitely imagined in that way. We were talking a lot about all these different bands that we kind of admired, and we were talking about what is it that unifies a crowd, and what is it that brings people together, and the drums or whatever. But then it was the idea of a commissioning as well. I think when you get people together and I guess Jesus brings us together, but it's the idea of all of us doing this together. Let's go out and let's see our church is full, and let's imagine the day like a prophecy where all the lost are coming home, where the world lights up. And I think I think for all of us when we were writing it, got us so inspired about, wow, what could this be? And so from the moment we were writing it until the moment we recorded it, I think I remember the night we recorded it, looking around at especially these guys, and Josh led it, and it's insane. But it was one of the craziest live songs I've ever experienced in my entire life, honestly, and no hype. But I remember thinking, this is exactly how we imagined it when we wrote it, if not better. So, yeah, wow. Very, very cool.
Well, and Josh, I love that lyric. It says, I think it's not a time to be silent. Don't you dare hide your light. I think about, there's a tendency, I think sometimes in the church to maybe pull back a little bit, or, just to be quiet and, not stick up, not stand out too much. But man, this is a really bold statement of the world needs to have what we have and needs to know what we know. And, what a powerful song for a church to be able to sing.
Yeah, I think, we kind of wanted to say it in a way that has that little bit of attitude about it. So, rather than, this little light of mine, it's a bit more don't you dare hide your light. It's in reality, in the times we're living in, the gospel message is the most urgent thing that people need to hear. And we don't, like you guys have been saying, you don't really hear that in worship songs anymore. We were saying there's a lot of God, I need you songs, and there's a lot of you're so great, God songs, but there's not very many we are Christians bringing God to the world songs. And that's such a fundamental part of what it means to be a Christian. And I love that we could, somehow put that into a song. And I know for us in London, we end every service with that song, and we have done for a little while now, because it's like a commissioning song to go back into your week for people, and just reminding you church isn't about Sundays, only about Sundays. It's also about you living, being the church in the week.
Wow, man, I love that. That's amazing. And man, the bridge of this song is incredible as well. Like you get to the bridge and you're really, I mean, in words, you're kind of just prophesying over, you know, all of these situations. You know, it's like, you know, there's a world outside, and talking about, you know, what's going to happen when we step out there, when we share our faith, when we're a light to the world. And you know, things like, you know, Ben, it talks about world light up, strongholds break, the lost return. Man, it's just, that's an incredible moment in this song where I think, you know, as the church, you rally around, these are the things that we want. These are the things that we're praying for, that we're hoping for. Talk a little bit about those lines.
I think we originally were going into creation lines, like we were like, let's describe it like how beautiful God's like made his creation and all these things. And then we landed on, we were like, wait, we can really prophesy over people, and we can really like say, like speak life into like people's futures. And then that's where all those like all those bridge lines came in, you know?
Yeah. I felt like that moment is like, it unlocks the song, especially when we first did it live, you know, because I think when people are learning the song, you're not sure how it's going to go. But when our youth group kind of caught on to that bridge, it was like they never wanted to stop singing it, because it was, the more you sung it, the more you believed it. And I think when you sing things, it's so much easier to almost envision them. And so, I don't know, when we recorded this song, Jimmy, it was crazy. Like we couldn't stop the crowd. I don't know if you guys remember this, but like, so we were meant to finish the night at 8:30. We didn't finish till 9:45, but we kept like our pastors would get up, like Laura and Pete or whatever, and try and, you know, end the service and dismiss the people, but they just kept singing the whoa. They just constantly, we couldn't get them to stop for about an hour, and they just constantly just kept singing the song over and over and over again. Because I think people do really, when you sing it, you can't help but think about, oh wow, like all it takes for me is to just actually be vocal about my faith, and we're going to see crazy things happen. So I don't know, it was insane.
Man, so cool. Wish I had been there, and I hope I get to be there at some point. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing with us about the song. It's super exciting. I can't wait for the church to be able to hear all of these songs on this recording, and it's amazing. You guys have done an amazing job, and I love that it's coming from one church to many other churches, and that's how you guys write music. And so thank you so much, Josh from London, Ben and Aiden from there in Sydney. Thank you for joining us.